So Alhaji, you start by introducing yourself and people, maybe you can give an intro then. People, can you hear me?
Yes, Alhaji.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, yes, I had a little disruption. So like I was saying, I am Alhaji Mane, the National President of Gambia YPG, and I am also a menstrual hygiene advocate. I also founded a civil society organization that is working with adolescent girls in school to make sure the menstrual hygiene is managed at school levels as well. So I will basically be talking about menstrual hygiene management in this session here today. So that is the topic. That is what I am going to be speaking about.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically, that was Alhaji from Gambia.
Yes. So that's Alhaji from Gambia.
Yes.
Okay. So
Alhaji, can you say something about yourself? So maybe people can be more aware about what you do, your profession, or anything else.
Okay, so I am a youth leader of a civil society organization, U8 Foundation Gambia, that is actually working to enhance menstrual health and hygiene in schools in the Gambia. So basically,
wow.
I can call myself a civil servant.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, so I am very passionate about menstrual hygiene management. So I am sort of an advocate for menstrual hygiene management. Wherever I've been given the opportunity to talk, I make sure I basically talked about menstrual hygiene management because I feel it is very important to talk about it. You know? Yeah, so that's a brief. That's brief about me.
That's great. But basically, I want to ask you, like, what brought you into this field? You can say, you know, what made you come into this field?
Yeah, so basically, I used to be one of the data collectors in some of the many organizations in the Gambia, and also a data entry clerk. So I come across a lot of information and also first-hand experience from the surveys we conducted in the rural Gambia. So then I realized that the situation there is not very, very much okay, as a lot of kids, especially adolescent girls, are going through this menstruation alone, and then they're having a lot of challenges. There's nobody to talk to. They feel depressed, confused, and all of that. So when I came back from that survey, because I had about 11 years of experience doing that survey, not only on water issues, but also other issues, education, and the like. So this was to motivate me to come and set up the organization to work with other youths in the Gambia here to make sure we address these problems on menstrual hygiene management. So this is what has inspired me, having seen a lot of challenges those girls are facing. And I know it's not only the rural girls, urban girls are also facing a similar thing. So we can call it a general problem. So this is my motivation to take up this field. Yes.
Very good. I'm impressed.
Thank you very much.
No worries. So, Maya, are you there?
Yes, so Alhaji, your presentation, please. So you can.
Okay, so
shall we begin with Alhaji only? Like, if the first speaker is not available, so.
Yes, so we'd have to start with Alhaji. He's the only one available. So Alhaji, 20 minutes for your presentation, 15 minutes for questions. So I wish you all the best.
Okay, that's fine. So we can proceed with the presentation now. Okay,
yes.
I'm looking at the Sustainable Development Goals, about 17 SDGs that has been envisaged by United Nations by 2030. And we realized that menstrual hygiene management is actually inculcated under water, sanitation, and hygiene. That is number 6 of the SDGs. So actually, menstrual hygiene is also very significant, as it has been placed in one of the SDGs to be achieved at least by member states by 2030. So its importance cannot be overemphasized. So looking at menstrual hygiene management in a context, I would like to basically define what menstrual hygiene management is. So basically, we would say menstrual hygiene management is the act of keeping general cleanliness during your menstruation. So it's all about being maintaining that cleanliness, that optimal cleanliness during your menstruation. That's what menstrual hygiene management is all about. So we realize that girls as young as 11 years old would start seeing their menses up to about 40 years of their lives. So if you look at that, that's about 4 decades of their lives that they'll be going through menstruation before they can meet their menopause. So it's actually a challenging situation that they have to go through this alone without social support that is required of it. Because going through something for about 40 years of your life, that is not a child's play. So this is why we come up with this support that we can give to girls so they understand. And most girls also will reach menage, that's the first day they see their mens, they will reach out menstruation with little or no critical information at all about menstrual hygiene management or menstruation itself. So eventually, so eventually when they reach at that stage, they start seeing their mens, they are very much confused, some are depressed, some are very much worried. Why? Because they have no information whatsoever about menstruation, meaning psychologically they are not prepared for menstrual hygiene, and psychologically whatever you are not prepared for, basically you cannot handle that. So when they reach at that stage, they really cannot handle it because of the fact that they are not prepared. It is our, like if I can call it a culture or belief or local taboos or whatsoever, that these topics needs not to be talking about. Maybe our grandparents believe that it is a privacy that it shouldn't be talking about. But it's bringing a lot of challenges to these young girls. And when you look at the school levels, menstrual hygiene and education, in the Gambia, data has shown that girls miss about 48 days of school every year because of menstruation, and that shouldn't have been the case. I don't believe a girl should miss school even for one day because she's going through menstruation. To me, that is a no-go area. So they are missing about 48 days of school annually because of menstruation. And when we take a close look at these 48 days, it is equivalent to 1 month and 18 days. So in our academic terms in the Gambia here, 1 month or 18 days is basically more than half of a term. Imagine someone misses more than half of a term. In school, the person is actually missing a lot. This is costing girls to be more sought compared to their boys counterpart. So it affects their academic performance because they are missing school for 48 days every time. This is more than half of a time every time. So this is basically a challenge to the girls that needs to be addressed. So we spotted out some of these challenges. This is why we come forward to make sure we sensitize these girls about these some of these things. Some don't even require a lot of money. You just need to go there, share what you have with them. The information is very key. So they've been having a lot of challenges actually. So some challenges are a lack of access to information, like what I was just saying. They don't have any information prior to that menstruation. And secondly, at school level also, they lack worse facilities. So basically, there are no facilities that they could actually use in school when they are going through that menstruation. And also misconceptions in societies, what people think about menstruation, that you are not clean, you cannot touch this, no, you cannot cook food because you're going through menstruation and all of that. Those are all misconceptions and myths that needs to be eradicated from the whole menstruation stuff. And also stigma and discrimination. You going through your menses, people will see you differently without realizing that it's a normal procedure for girls to go through their menses. Because for girls and women are like, once you are matured, there are two things that is going to be happening to you reproductive wise. There are two things that is going to happen to you. Is either you are pregnant or you are not pregnant. So we see when you are not pregnant, obviously you are out to be seeing your menses every month. If you are not seeing your menses without being pregnant, then you have an infection or something is going wrong in your system. So, but then we in our communities, we see when you are pregnant, Like people will give you all the advices that you can do to stay a healthy pregnancy, or you can take eggs, you can take this, you can take that to make sure you maintain that pregnancy in a healthy way. So why not in menstruation as well? When you are menstruating, I think we should also be giving some advices to stay healthy during the course of the menstruation. So these are some of the challenges that people are facing, like adolescent girls and women are facing in our communities here. So in the Gambian aspect, this is what I'm talking about. But usually African problem is a general problem. So one problem in one part of Africa also is a problem in other parts of Africa. We share problems. So maybe it could be applicable to other African countries as well. So these are the challenges that have been faced. And these challenges we all need to put hand on deck to make sure these challenges are good if we are to achieve those sustainable development goals by 2030 as stipulated. It's one thing to envision something, but it's another thing to actually achieve that. And that will not be done without our collaboration from relevant stakeholders to make sure these things are done from the community, from teachers, from students themselves, and whoever can provide those supports. Yeah, so I will now go into the benefits of menstrual hygiene management. So there are a lot of benefits with regards to menstrual hygiene management. Such benefit could be reduction of infection. It reduces the risk of infection when you maintain hygiene during your menstruation. It also reduces absenteeism in school, like what I was talking earlier on about. When you maintain a hygiene, and then with menstruation with hygiene, you will see to it that most girls will not be absent from school like they used to, and they can actually perform, I could improve their academic performance because they are always going to school, and it will also help them to raise their self-esteem. They will become more and more confident of themselves, which will actually enable them to meet their full potentials as girls growing up to their choice of careers. So those are some of the benefits that comes up with menstrual hygiene. And also the best practices we'll also look at. So when we look at the best practices during menstruation, at least a girl or a woman should at least take bath 3 times a day, because you need to be make sure you maintain that optimal hygiene like we were talking about, to reduce the risk of infection or bacterial attraction and the like. So you can take shower at least 3 times a day. So you can take shower at least 3 times a day. Yes.
Excuse me, can you please put your mic off, please? Someone who is not speaking.
Yeah, so like I was saying before the interruption, you can at least take bath 3 times a day to maintain that hygiene. And also you can change your part 3 to 4 times a day. The parts that you're using, at least you change it 3 to 4 times in a day, depending on the absorption of blood, or the level of blood, volume of blood that is actually coming out. So you realize that menstruation can last from 3 to 7 days. So once it is starting, it is usually heavy and a lot of blood will be coming for the first 2-3 days. But as time goes on, the blood will really also decreases. So that's very normal how it goes. And also you maintain privacy when you have your menstruation. That's also very important. Most importantly, we also encourage the use of reusable parts instead of the disposable parts, because we realize that the reusable parts are more sustainable, they are more eco-friendly, and also they are more healthy to use. At least we know them, we know what they are made up of, but the disposable parts that we don't know, first, they are not even eco-friendly. You can use them or dispose them anywhere. So that can also cause environmental hazards somewhere else. And also we don't know where they are made of, whatever chemicals added to them, we don't know, which would actually affect these girls in the long run. So we usually always advise girls to use reusable parts. You use them, wash them, and then you can reuse them over and over again. It can last for 2 years, so you don't even need to be buying parts. So cost-wise, affordability is very easy. You don't have to be buying parts every now and then. Once you have this set of part, about 4, you can be using them for close to 2 years. I think that is very important in the practices of best practices of menstrual health and hygiene. So why are we doing all this? We also looking at the objectives. At least we actually doing something for something. We don't do it just alone. When we look at the objectives, what we want to achieve from all of these things, these sensitization and everything. So we look at two objectives, which is a specific objective and the overall objective. So at the specific objective, we look at the sensitization part, where we go to schools, we create more awareness on menstrual hygiene, also create more awareness socially. So these girls will be able to have that social support that is required during their menstruation. And also we try to provide menstrual products for them, like the sanitary parts, like the reusable sanitary parts. We will also provide them with some underwears and also detergent they can be using. So all those are specific objectives for a very short period of time. We're thinking about these objectives. But for the long run, that's the overall objective. We're thinking about the eradication of misconception, stigma, and discrimination, which is very, very, very much difficult. I don't think that will be going in a year or two. So we have to be sensitizing to make sure a lot of people understand about this menstrual hygiene management and how important it is to these girls and women, and how it can impact their reproductive health and sexual lives as well. So once people understand the importance of a thing, it will be very easy for them to leave that negative side of it. So we believe with constant sensitization, using popular media, TV stations, radios, even social medias, or sessions like this, it will help to basically eradicate the misconceptions and stigmas that has been attached to this menstrual hygiene or menstruation itself. And we also trying to bring on boys in this sensitization. We make sure we don't sensitize only girls. We also make sure boys are also part of this sensitization so that they understand the concept of menstruation. And when they grow up to become the uncles, the fathers, the brothers, they can actually help these girls and women to maintain this high positive menstrual hygiene management. So that will be very easy for boys to do because they understand they're part of it. They grow up like it. So we want to basically catch them on the grassroots level so they understand it. As they grow up, they will know it's a normal thing that is actually going on. Because I don't feel girls are discriminated or they are stigmatized from their women's counterpart. No, they all go through the same thing. So there's no stigmatization from the area of girls or women, but this stigmatization is coming from men and the boys. So once the boys also understand this growing up to be men, they will understand this is very normal. So I believe with time, the stigma will be eradicated, and then the girls will actually, so their menses is in peace, and then they'll have more self-esteem about themselves because nobody is stigmatizing them and the like. So I think these are some of the things that we looked at in terms of menstrual hygiene management. Yeah, we also emphasize on school, like I said earlier on, girls missing a lot of days for the 8 days every hour from school. That is a lot. So we make sure we enable girls, we sensitize them to know that, look, you cannot just miss school because you are going through your menstruation. You can actually be going through your menstruation and also attending your classes. It doesn't affect it well. So, but then we have to make sure also we have these wash facilities in school so that girls will at least be able to change their parts, also wash themselves, and they can come back to class and continue with the classes. But once all of these things are available at school level, I think the level of absenteeism will actually decrease hugely. So the girls will be able to participate in their studies, and then they can actually have good grades, and they can meet their full potentials as women growing up and in their careers as well. So unless we put all those things in place, sensitization is one part of it, but it's not everything. And also the sustainability of it is also quite very important. So now looking at the sustainability, what we actually doing is when we reach out to school, we sensitize them. We make sure women teachers in that school also understand the importance of this. So every school, we recommend you have a menstrual hygiene club that all the girls are going to be part of. This club are going to be doing the continuous sensitization over and over again. So whatever support they might need from us, U8 Foundation, we will come around and then provide that support for them. But then they will have to be sensitizing these girls. When those people graduate, other girls come, it's going to be a continuous process. And we also will provide them with handy books on menstrual hygiene and effective guidelines on menstrual hygiene management and things like that. I think that will be also very easy. Like giving someone.
Alaji,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I would like to make an announcement. Like, guys, if you are logged out of the session, so please rejoin it. Okay, everyone. Once you are logged out of the session, kindly rejoin it again. Yeah, Alaji, we are good to go.
Okay, thank you very much, Japan.
No
So,
worries.
yes, like I was saying, the sustainability is good to start something, but how you end up is what really counts. So we make sure it's very much sustainable in school levels. How we can do that is to basically capacitize these young teachers as well, young women teachers, so they can form these menstrual hygiene clubs in the schools. That could be a continuous process. Even if they are not there, whoever are coming to that school, posted to that school, they can continue with that project. Like it's going to be a continuous project. This will also help a long way to basically improve menstrual hygiene management in schools. No, women are also important with regards to menstrual hygiene management, but we are more focused on adolescent girls because they are more vulnerable, they are more underprivileged. At least women, they are mature, they know what to do and things like that. But for the girls coming up, they don't know anything about menstruation. We are targeting them at grassroots level. You will realize that when they are growing up, it will become more easier for them to manage these things because they've been through it since they were very, very young. So these are some of the things we are putting in place to make sure we address menstrual hygiene management in school levels, basically to reduce the absenteeism and also enable girls reach their full potentials. And they will not be able to reach their full potential if they are missing school for 48 days every year, almost half of the time. They will not be able to meet their full potential. So we're making sure we introduce these things to all the schools in the Gambia, but it's going to be a gradual process. So we're going to go about it step at a time. And it is basically a progress for us. We were approached by the Science and Technology Department of MOPSE, that's Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education of the Gambia. They saw our work online. They were impressed. They wanted to use our work to do some presentation on also to integrate it in their e-learning program for the girls in the schools in the Gambia. So I think that's an achievement from our side as well, that somebody or some entities were impressed that they want to put it in the education system. That's a kudos. Like I said, it's a collaborative effort. Only U8 Foundation Gambia cannot do it. Other organization needs to come on board. It's not a competition. It's a collaboration to achieve a goal, a mutual goal for the benefit of the entire country. So like I said, I believe this is the case in the Gambia, but like I said, Africans share similar cases. So it might be the same case in other African countries as well. So we can all work together as Africans to make sure we help to eradicate these things. And also on a global level, we can share ideas to make sure it becomes a thing of a past and we normalize menstruation. I think that will be all for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alhaji. But I would like to ask you something. Okay, so in Gambia, do you think that men and women are free to, what you can say, share their thoughts about this kind of information, or what is the real issue going around in the society? Do you think it should be made like a free conversation about this kind of topics?
Yes, I think it should be made free conversation, that it becomes easier for everybody. Even men inclusion in this topic is very much important because, like I said, the stigmatization, the misconception is all coming from the side of the men, not the women. So once we talk about these things, we will come into a common understanding, and then the women will actually have the social support they need, not from only from the women, but from the men and from the boys as well, because they understand the concept and the topic of menstrual hygiene management. But if they don't understand it, they will just be having some misconception about the issue. Oh, we should not talk about this. Oh, this is not good. Oh, they are unclean. They are this, they are that. Not knowing that it's a very normal thing. Yeah. So I've been able to understand all of these things because I listen to them, I talk to them, I know their problems. So now here I'll be able to guide them, also support them socially. So if a lot of men are actually in my suit, they will also be willing to support and give socially. They will know, oh, what I used to think about it, and now what it is in the real situation is very much different. Yes, I believe it
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
like.
Exactly, because I've seen like men are always like they think of it as a taboo or something. You must be knowing it better than me, I guess. Yeah, so that's the reason, like, my personal opinion was like men and women should be open about talking about certain topics, so everyone feels comfortable in the society and no one
Mhm.
feels discrimination or anything kind of. Yeah.
Exactly,
And also,
exactly.
what do you think about menstrual hygiene products? If they are made as essential items under the government, what do you think about this? Should be made essential items?
Yes, I think that could also help. Once government intervenes, the little like the small civil society organization like mine would be able to do a little bit of help, but not like what the government will be able to do. What we'll be doing of a 5%, government can do 95%. So when government
Yeah,
come
yeah.
with those ideas, it will really help to boost the menstrual hygiene management. They could make it an essential good, and it will be more affordable and then more sustainable. The sustainability and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
affordability will be very much easier when governments intervene as well. Yeah, I think is very much
Yeah.
essential.
Like basically, I personally think that it should be made like as an essential item if it is available in the market. There are so many people who are not financially stable, who cannot afford certain things, so even they can go out in the market and feel free whenever they want something.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, it's all down to sensitization, sensitizing about it, and so on. Because of the taboo, the cultures, and everything, that's why we need to talk about it and make sure everybody understands. Once you see it in the market, you know it's very normal. It's like you go buy bread because you need bread. It should be like that. You go buy it because you need to use it. Everybody will understand that, and then it will become more easier for other people to also acquire it. Those are that are not financially stable that can also be able to acquire it as well. Yeah, that's a very
Alaji, on this topic, anybody, please raise your hand if you have any questions to ask.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so question number one, Al-Haj.
mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you know about tampons.
Tom.
Yes, yes.
Tampons.
Company, yes, and
Yes. So recently I was just reading the news and there was a lady that used tampons, and I think tampons should be changed every 3 hours, but she kept it in for a very long time. And it affected her to the point that they had to amputate her, like take both of her legs off. So the question is tampons and sanitary pads, which one would you highly recommend and why? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Amar, for that question. Okay, I would recommend reusable sanitary pads over tampons, simply because they are very much visible. You can feel them at any point in time that you require to change them. You can easily change them. But tampon, those are insertable ones that you have to insert, sort of a menstrual cup. So once it is in there, sometimes, like you said, you might forget to get it out. We could actually cause some damages. So I would go in for reusable pads that are more easier to use, and they're basically more friendly, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, but with the sanitary pads, too, there are cases where it just got off, like in public. You're just walking and it's off. People, the reason why the whites use tampons more, or maybe the models and those who are really busy, is that it absorbs those who are heavy bleeders. Sorry, guys, this is for the ladies. So those who are heavy bleeders, the tampons absorbs much more than the the sanitary part. So let's say there was an issue in school when ladies were playing and the sanitary part just fell off, and people feel the tampons are more safer. So even though the risk attached to tampons are very high, like the lady that I said earlier that was amputated because of this. Personally, sorry, I prefer sanitary pads to tampons, but I've never even used a tampon before because we're like in Africa, we don't readily get such stuffs. So I'm just saying. So the sanitary pads to the risk, not the risk. I mean, anything can happen. You can just walk, and people even soil their shores and all that. So if you can probably elaborate maybe why you have to, what are the risk factors? Yeah.
Okay. Looking at sanitary pads, the reusable sanitary pads are not the disposable. Yeah, so I'll be talking more about the reusable. The reusable are very much okay. I think they are user friendly. So what you do is you just they have little buttons. You just attach it to your underwear. Just press the button, and then there it clips up. So once you wear that underwear, it's going to be very, very difficult for the parts to come off, unless you have to remove the underwear yourself. Otherwise, it's going to be staying there for a longer period. As much as you want it to stay, if you wanted to take it out, you can take it out and change into other things. So I think is eco-friendly, is very user-friendly as well. This is why I usually go in for the reusable sanitary pads. They are very much easy to use. So I don't see any sort of complication with it as we are going. We asking the students because we gave it to about two schools, about 300 young girls received these sanitary pads. And also in our monitoring and evaluation, we interact with them on focus group discussions to get feedback from them as to how they see it and how the difficulties that they. But so far, we haven't received any complaints that they have any difficulties with it. I think it is very easy and simple with them. Yeah, I believe for now.
Okay. So there's a question in the chat session. Kimberly from South Africa says, I was privileged to go to school where if one is having severe menstrual pains, you can go to the nurse and get a lavender hot cushion bag that you can put on your pelvic area to help ease the pain. When it happens too often, they suggest that you see a doctor and probably get contraception that helps stop the menstrual cycle. Do you think it's safe to choose this method? Honestly, contraceptive to release pain, I've never heard of it before. Contraceptive.
Okay, so the name contraceptive even can explain a lot, says everything, I believe. So when you are going through menstruation, you have some menstrual cramps. There are some painkillers or analgesics that you can use. Not contraceptive. When you use contraceptive, it means you don't want to get pregnant, so you're using something to prevent that pregnancy. And this is a different case. This is a pain that you are going through because of menstruation. The pain might be very mild or it might be severe. So what we will usually recommend is to use a painkiller, either Brufen, paracetamol, or Buscopan. These are some of the medications. Some would use diclofenac as well. So these are some of the painkillers we would recommend to use, not contraceptives. Yes. Yeah. So in short, we recommend painkillers, not contraceptives. Yeah.
Okay. So any more questions? The ladies, please ask questions. Then yes, Alhaji. Yes, the pain, a friend of mine used to suffer so much when it comes to her menstrual cycle. Like it just breaks her. Like she can literally do anything. Like she's just in pain. So personally, I'm not the drug type. I don't want to be drug addicted. Like anytime my menstruation comes, I want to stick to the natural method, go through the pain and suffer. So as a menstrual hygiene advocate, would you recommend I take drugs to ease the pain like what my friend was doing, or I should stay put and suffer? Thank you.
Okay, that will have to depend on the level of pain. If the pain is bearable, that a mild pain that you can bear, it's just for a period of time. The pain is gradually going to go away because there are a lot of changes at that point in that is going in your reproductive system. So it is normal to feel that pain. If you can bear the pain, that's very much okay. But if you can again not bear the pain, then you might need some medication, let's say some painkillers to ease the pain. That is if the pain is very much serious. But if it's a mild pain, then you just don't need to take any painkillers for that. It will gradually come to a stop by itself. Yeah.
Okay. Alaji, I also have a question. Like, I've seen people taking iron tablets. So does it have anything to do with hormonal changes if you are taking iron tablets or anything else? Like,
okay, with that, what we advise is before you can take the iron tablet, we know menstruation, you are losing blood, and some would actually lose a lot of blood in the process. But before you use any iron tablet, you make sure you have a test. You check your HB, provided that your HB is very low or is getting low due to the menstruation, you'll be advised to take an iron tablet. But if you check your HB, you realize that the HB is very much normal, despite the fact that you're losing blood. Then there's no need to take an iron tablet. Otherwise, you might have a lot of HB that which is actually not very healthy as well. So your HB needs to be at the normal range. So when you take a lot of iron tablet without knowing your HB, it could be also very harmful. So you check your HB first and know the status, then you can have the iron tablet if necessary.
Yeah, and also what is the side effect if someone is taking a lot of iron tablets?
Okay, you might have a lot of high HB. It will raise the HB very high because iron tablet will give you obviously blood. They increase the red blood cells. So we call it. So when you use with taking iron tablet without needing it, meaning your HB is very normal, you're taking it, is going to compound the HB. So HB is going to be going up and up and up, which is not also very healthy. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Araj. Do we have anyone else who would like to ask?
There's a question in the comment section. Please mute your mic if you are not speaking, young leaders. So there's a question. Please, I want to know more about the reusable pad. Yes, I also want to know more about it because formerly, during the Asian times, not really Asian, my grandmother's time, they used to use cloths, wash it, and still use it again. So now I've never really. My mom said there's the reusable pad in Japan, but I've never really seen it before. And personally, I don't want to use it. I want to dispose it off. So
exactly.
Yes. How because the pad may contain some certain bacteria. I think won't die and may enter back. So I what do you think, Alhaji?
Okay, it's like say you want to know more about the reusable part. So the reusable parts are not any different from the clothes that our parents or grandparents used to use. This time around, there has been some innovation. Some sort of designs has been made on them. They would usually have sponge in the middle, and they will basically design them like sort of a part, like how the disposable part shape is, and then they would have a button on the both side, and then they will have a sponge in the middle. So that's how they are basically sponge and clothes. That's all it's about. It's just fabric, and then you have a sponge in the middle. So that's the difference from the ones that our grandparents used to use. For them, they just use the clothes without no sponge or no whatever buttons. But these ones are just innovative. They are more easier to use. At least you can attach them to an underwear. You stick the button, and then it will be attached completely to it, and then you can use them. whilst you are menstruating, the sponge will be there to absorb the blood. So I would say that's the only difference. And it is very safe to use them. Even Gambia here, we have small organizations that are manufacturing it, and then they're also selling it. If you like, as a girl, you can go there and then just buy a pack of it. It contains 4. At least you can use that for 2 years. Every menstruation, you'll be using that for you. Wash another one, you'll be using another one. And they have this small pack that you can put in them and put it in your bag. Nobody will even realize or know that you're having something in here. So they are very, very much portable. Just innovation take its place, and then things are going smoothly. I believe it is always like that. So yeah, basically their clothes are not any different, but there are some ideas that have been added on, and it's easier for people to use now. Yeah.
Okay, Alhaji. Then also there was this vlog, YouTube vlog I was watching, and sorry to say, it's not good to have sex before marriage though, but those who do it, um, they were recommending, during your menstrual cycle, your hormonal level shoots up, it shoots up to, yes. I don't know. For those who are married, please, if you know you're not married. So your hormonal level shoots up. And the question is it safe to have sexual intercourse in your menstrual cycle, especially for the women? Because a lot of people do that. Because their hormonal level shoots up, they want to just have some fun. So on both sides, for the man and for the woman, is this safe?
That is a capital no. that is not, yeah, it's not safe at all. You seem to realize that the blood that is coming out, that your body don't needs it. That's why the body is taking it out. So it's sort of a foreign thing in the body. It needs to come out because it's no longer useful to the body. So you cannot be having sex in that state. Body is trying to express something out. You also want to at least have that sexual interaction. It might expose you to a lot of infections. You'll be prone to infection. When you practice that, is very unhygienic. It's not religious. I don't think both Islam and Christianity don't accept that. And also, when you look at it, science is not hygienic to have sex while menstruation is going on. It can prone you to a lot of infections that's going to be very, very harmful, and they could be very deadly as well. So no, I don't recommend that, and I don't also advise anybody to have sex during menstruation. It's not an ideal state to have sex. So it's a big no.
Okay.
You cannot do that.
Yeah, sorry. And my other question before I come to Nia though, sorry. Also menstrual cycle and the religious factors. In Islam, it's said that if you are in your menstruation, you're not supposed to even cook for your husband and do certain chores. So I don't know whether you know much about that. I don't know whether you can speak of it and maybe educate us on this so that people realize that menstruation is part of a woman's cycle. It needs no discrimination at all. Even in our religious bodies, it needs no discrimination at all. Thank you.
Yes, that's a very, very important one, religious wise and also culturally. But I also realized that here some cultures people term as religion, which are not even religion, but because they have that deep rooted belief in them, they will term it as religion. Whatever culture and religion, people don't differentiate between culture and religion, and most of these things are cultures not based on religion, because what God says in the Quran, that He will not put something onto man that the man cannot carry, meaning He will not put difficulty in a man that you cannot bear. So being in that state, common sense will even tell you that it is very normal when menstruation, like I said, when menstruation is not occurring, meaning you are either pregnant or you have an infection. And I don't call it for infection, but maybe pregnancy would be an ideal situation. Like you are pregnant, that's why you are not seeing your menses. But once you are seeing your menses, it's okay. It's very much normal. As long as you are maintaining your that personal hygiene, I think it's very much okay. So the point that they will say you cannot cook, it doesn't have any proof and it doesn't have any base as well. Because they would thinking that, oh, you are not clean, that's why you should not cook. But provided that you maintain that personal hygiene, I think you can cook, and then nobody will even know in the first place that you are going through your mens when you don't tell anybody that you are going through your mens. So it makes no difference then. And Islamically, I don't see that as whatsoever difference and so on. Maybe based on cultural aspect, we term it as it should not be done and the like. This is the concept we trying to eradicate. There are a lot of misconceptions and a lot of myths with regards to menstruation. So I believe once you are clean, you are good to go. You'll be able to do anything. It's just as normal as pregnancy. When you are pregnant, you can cook. When you are menstruation, I believe you'll be able to cook as well, provided that you maintain that personal hygiene, I believe. Yes.
Okay, so Nia, though, your question. So devout.
Yes.
Okay, please, I have two questions to ask.
Niado.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah,
Please, I have two questions. I have two questions to ask. Concerning having sex with your partner whilst she's in a menstruation, and you said it's going to affect the lady. So how is it also going to affect the man too as well? And my second question is, a friend of mine, anytime she's having a menstrual cycle, it comes 2 times like it comes twice in a week, sometimes 3 times. So how is that happening? So can you please tell us something?
Okay, thank you very much for your question, my brother. Okay, the first question is it will affect only the woman, not the man. So I just like to correct that. It would affect both parties. When the woman is going through menstruation and you happen to have contact with the woman, you both are having contact, so you're all going to be affected. If there are any potential infections, you're all going to have that infection. Because we got to know this, that the blood that is coming out during menstruation really attracts bacteria, and some bacteria are invisible. You might not be able to see with your naked eye. So once these bacteria are around at that point in time, you have that contact with the woman, the bacteria is going to basically affect both you and the woman. You all going to have that infection. Whatever infection the woman have, you definitely going to have that infection. So it's not advisable to have sex. It doesn't only affect the woman, but it affects the man as well. So that is the first question. It affects the both parties. So you just abstain from sex while the woman is menstruating. When it's done with menstruation, you can have sex at any time that you wanted to have. And also with the second question, what the lady is going through, you see menses this week and it skipped to the other week and so on. That is called irregular menstruation. That's supposed not to happen. When menstruation starts, it's actually from 3 to 7 days, and it should stop. Sometimes it shouldn't exceed that. When it's exceed that, you need to check a health professional. They will help you out. Otherwise, you might run to low HB, which is not also very ideal. Yeah. So, but then seeing it this week and also seeing it next week, that is what we call irregular menses. That is not normal. Sometimes it could be caused by infections. So you will see to read that your cycle will not be normal as it's supposed to be going forward. It will have sort of a break and then proceed, break and then proceed. That is a sign of irregular menses. That is very, very, very abnormal. You need some antibiotics to treat that infection, but then you need to do the test first and then see if there are really some infections. Usually they are caused by infections. So it is irregular menses. For the lady that is not seeing it mens, or you see it, skip and then see it again. Yeah. So I hope that's answered your questions.
Yes, please. I have another question. I also have a lady friend who has never had a menstruation, she has never gone through a menstruation cycle before. She's 23 years of age now. So what is causing that?
Okay, people systems are not the same, and people's reproductive system responded differently. She should not is very normal. She should not do anything to force it to come and all of that. Let her just be okay. It's normal. It happens to some people, but in a very rare case, out of 100, possibly it can happen to only 2 people or 3 people. Although those are very rare cases, but again, it do happen. So it's just normal. It's okay. If she's not having any other harmful or infections or the like, she's not experiencing any abnormality, then it's very much normal. But if there are abnormalities that might cause the delay, she can also see a doctor. Then they will assess if there are infections or maybe some chronic infection that might be the cause of the delay. But she need to make the test and see if it is normal or not normal. Or if the tests are normal, so she doesn't have to worry about anything. But if the tests are not normal, then she needs to get a treatment for that. Probably that will help as well.
Okay, okay. So such a person, if the person have sexual intercourse with a partner, is it possible for the person to get pregnant or not?
No. The person will not get pregnant, but there's a likely for the person to have infection. So because it's a cycle, the eggs have already busted. So meaning no pregnancy can take place until the eggs have to regenerate again and also fully mature again. Then when you have contact, then the person can get pregnant. But at that point, the person will not be able to get pregnant because the eggs have already busted and those are the blood that is coming out. Yeah, but it's not advisable because there could be infections and serious consequences as well. Yeah, but there will be no pregnancy, of course.
Okay. Thank you.
We have Drisa in the chat. He wants to say something. Drisa, can you please unmute yourself and speak?
Yes, hi.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning. Yes, I am Mohamed. J'aimerais poser quelques questions à M. Aladji. Roger va traduire après. La première question, c'est qu'est-ce qui explique les différences de cycle?
Roger, please hold on, Roger, are you there? Roger?
Roger?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, there's a French speaker, so please listen to him.
Yeah.
Roger, my translator, please.
Okay.
Donc, la première question, c'est qu'est-ce qui explique les différences de cycle?
So you just want to know what explain the differences in the cycle. Some people has irregular cycle. What can be the explanation, the logical explanation for that?
Oh, okay, so the logical explanation to that is irregular cycles are usually being caused by an infection. Because usually the cycles need to be continuous from 3 to 7 days at least. You should be seeing your menses. The minimum is 3 days and then the maximum is 7 days. But if that is not happening, it becomes irregular. So the word itself says irregular. That means there's something wrong with it. So you need to check if there are possible infections because bacterial infection can also cause irregular menstruation. So the person needs to get to the hospital, then they do the infection test and see if there are any infections. Then they will give them medications, antibiotics, and the like to treat the infection, and then the menstruation will come back to normal. Yeah, so those are the possible explanations that we can give in this aspect.
Ok. La deuxième question, c'est quel est le lien entre la douleur au ventre et les règles?
So you want to know the difference between having a tummy pain and the menstrual cycle. Is it the same pains or is it like, because sometimes you say when you have your menstrual cycle, you can have a pain, but sometimes when your menstrual cycle is about to come, the person can feel pains in the tummy. So you want to know if tummy pain is related to menstrual cycle.
Okay, thank you very much. Because it has to be based on your cycle. Some women do understand their cycles when they are about to menstruate, they know, and when the pain happens, they know. There are a lot of a possible explanation that can cause tummy pain. It could even food poison can cause it, and the like. There are a lot of diarrhea can cause tummy pain. But once it is happening, my menstruation maybe is about in 2 days or in 3 days time. Because there are that hormonal changes in your system, you tend to feel some pains as well. And when also eventually into the menstruation, you also feel pain. But how would you be able to know whether this is menstruation pain or not? Yeah.
Guys, please, who is not speaking, please mute yourself.
Yeah, so to be able to distinguish that menstrual pain with other normal pains, you will first have to understand your menstrual cycle. Maybe in 2 days time I'll be seeing my menses, or in a daytime I'll be seeing my menses. Usually when you have that pain, it could be as a result of the hormonal changes, because it is preparing you or giving you a sign that the menstruation is about to come anytime soon. So usually those are the explanations that you can take notice of. And once you see the pain, you obviously know that I'll be seeing my menstruation very soon. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Do we have anyone else who would like to ask something?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. So I guess.
Thank you, Alaji.
Yes, please. I
You
want
did a
to
very great
ask.
job.
I would like to ask, please.
Please raise your
Yes,
hand.
Hope. Yes, Hope. Please say.
Yeah, so Hope. Yes, thank you.
Okay, my question goes like this. I have a friend who sees her period maybe in 6 months, once in 6 months. Is there a problem regarding to that? And is it that she cannot get pregnant, like for the 6 months, or it can take up to 9 months without her seeing her period? But once the period comes, she'll have to menstruate for close to a week, and it's heavy flow. Is there a problem regarding to that, or it's normal? Thank you.
Okay. So like we said, normal menstruation will have to be at least from 3 to 7 days. That is considered normal menstruation. So anything less than that or anything above that is considered irregular menstruation. That is not normal. So what the person would do is he needs to go to the hospital. They will do, because it's not normal for you to be not seeing your menses for quite a long period of time. Usually when you have a chronic infection, either chronic STI or UTIs could actually cause that. When they are very much chronic, they actually would change your menstrual cycle. You don't even see, sometimes some would even think they are pregnant, and even if they do the test, they will realize that they are not pregnant. But then they are still having that infection that is causing to delay that menstruation for a longer period of time. So when such happen, you are advised to go to the hospital, do the normal infection checkups, and see if there are anything that is wrong with you. If it is an infection, you make sure you treat the infection as soon as possible, because if you delay the treatment of that infection, also it might somehow affect your reproductive system, and even to become pregnant is going to be very difficult, because there will be no coordination with your reproductive systems. So once you observe those kind of things, you need to rush to the hospital. When it's an infection, you make sure you have your complete treatment, and then the menstruation will come back to normal. Menstruation is normal for everybody, so it has to be normal to you as well. It should not be different from what other women are facing. So if you see the slight difference, then things are not normal. You make sure you get the treatment that you are required to get, so you can get back to normal as well. So that's not normal. Yeah.
Okay, so Alhaji, we are about to end your session, but one more question before we end, because you have to prepare for the next session. So I've seen situations of people menstruating in their palms, like they don't have the normal flow. You see their palms really swollen, like gigantic palms, and like what's this guy's name? Skull. Oh no, don't worry. Their palms are really swollen. So the question is it normal? Because when I saw it, I'm like, I've never seen anybody menstruating in his palms. The palms just get swollen, and I don't know how the blood gets out. So I don't know. And the irregular menstruation cycle, does it cause fibroid? Does it cause fibroid? I know you're not a medical practitioner, but if you have any view. So that's the last question. Then we end the session and prepare for the next one. Thank you.
Okay, so for the first question, during menstruation, you seeing your palms getting swollen and all of that is not a good sign at all, and it is not normal. Usually, maybe there might be some retention of blood or whatsoever that might also trigger for the BP, the blood pressure to rise up. Usually when you have that high BP, your palms or your feet or some part of the body tends to be very, very much swollen. So that usually high blood pressure can also cause that. So it's not very normal. When you observe such things, you need to report to the health center or hospital to check whether your blood pressure is actually okay. Because the vessels needs to be pumping blood at a regular level. When it's also beyond the regular level, it becomes a problem. So it has to manifest through some signs like swollenness, dizziness, and all of that. Yeah, so that's the first question. It's not normal. Once you observe that, you have to rush to the hospital. And also fibroid, of course, it can cause it. These are related issues. You know, like the body is sort of once one part is affected, it can likely affect the other parts as well. So they are all coordinating. One single problem in the body can also affect a lot of other organs. You might have, let's say, high blood pressure, for instance. It might lead to stroke. Stroke might also lead to some other diabetics and all of that, because the bodies, you tend to realize that the anatomy of a human is interconnected. All the systems are all connected. So if one system have a problem, it will also directly affect the other system as well. So it could cause fibroid. It can also cause other diseases as well. Yeah. So once you observe any abnormality, we advise you just straight away go to the hospital or health center to get an urgent help as soon as possible. I think in this way they will be able to establish actually what the problem is, and then they will give you the treatment according to the problems manifested or the problems that you are going through. And with that, I believe things will get back to normal. Yeah.
Do we have anyone else? No? So I guess that's it. So Alaji, thank you so much that you shared all the information about menstrual hygiene with us. Yeah, and I hope everyone got to learn something from this session.
Right, you're very much welcome. It's a pleasure to share what I have with at least YPG. I believe we can do stuff around, Yes, I'm very happy.
Yes,
no worries. We are glad to have you here. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah, so it was truly an educative one. I learned so much, and Alhaji is the president of Gambia. I'm so much enlightened, and honestly, it was a very good one. Menstrual hygiene is very, very good for the women. Sorry, guys, but some guys were questions and all. All of us will grow and have daughters and all. We will all have our girlfriends and wives. So it was really educative. So any comment before we end the session? The next speaker is online, so we'll just give ourselves 3 minutes and join the next session. So any comments, any suggestions? If not, then we'd have to end the session.
Yeah, I have a comment, Mayat.
Yes, go ahead, Mama.
Yes, Mapa.
So yeah, thank you so much for useful information. It was so great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mapa. Okay, so we need to adjourn the session, and his time is up, so the Zoom session will end. So in just 2 minutes, you can just join. I'll start the session exactly in 2 minutes then. So
sure.
Abidon, please, are you ready for your session? I think you have to unmute your mic and speak. I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. So
yes, I am ready.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, so she'll be presenting on circular economy, recycling of materials. And guys, I know it's very educative. Pollution is one of the things that is really killing our environment. So it will be a very great session, and I hope you all join. And if you are attending this session and you're a YPG member, please notify me or Roger so that we would prepare your certificate. But if we be attending all the sessions, please, we are taking notice, but if you are just ending your session now, please let us know. So thank you all very much, and see you guys in like 2 minutes. Bye.
Yes. So guys, don't forget to rejoin the session. Okay, we're having another session on board. So please be with us. Someone is telling me, host, keep moving. Where would you want me to move? Raja is having fun. I don't know why.
The guy said, why are you moving, Jipa?
Yeah,
So you shouldn't move.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it because
Drisa, you want something? Drisa, do you want to ask something? Drisa Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you wanting to ask something?